Good Lord. Technology. Click here. Click there. Good Lord. Click. Double click, triple click. Ha! Grr. Do you believe in a world where every human being is entitled to a long and successful career? Even elderly sex workers? I'm Michael O'Hare, ex-CEO, philanthropist, all-round life coach, and an expert in technology. As tonight's show has proven, I have sacked an entire team of IT staff, and I will now run this myself because I can do, and I've also saved $25,000 a year. Welcome to Enter the Dojo of Business. Hiya! Join us live here every week, normally at the earlier time of 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where career progression dreams do come true. Follow the Facebook group, and maybe if you want to start a watch party, and hopefully you didn't miss my expletives beforehand when I had to sack those people. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and if you think others could benefit from the Best in Business Boot Camp, get them to join us here every week. In Facebook, you can submit comments. I will periodically check them. And to do the same in YouTube, you actually have to be in the YouTube application to do this. So let's start this week. Well, you probably noticed I'm in the kitchen again. I've got my little cup of coffee here made by a small dwarf. In fact, all jokes aside, I actually learned how to make an instant coffee. Google is wonderful. There's absolutely nothing on that in the Britannica Encyclopedia, I can tell you. Anyway, on to our first question this week. It comes from a Facebook message from Malcolm Sweat, Sun Valley, Idaho. And he says, "Dear Michael, I'm starting up a new company selling premium advertising space on social media outfits like Bebo and MySpace. I believe these sites are going to come back with a bang. As such, I'm going to my local bank this week as I am looking to apply for a small business loan. Do you have any tips for what I should do when I get there?" Well, great message, Malcolm. You should view this like a grueling fraternity initiation. The bank will require you to do some base and degrading tasks in order to prove yourself. But know this, you will get the money. Banks are desperate to hand out money left, right, and center, particularly if you're a very risky business. Not unlike the Tom Cruise 1987 classic, which was the first soft porn film that I watched with my son, Oxford. Anyway, my top tips are threefold. Number one, bring a gift to sweeten the deal. It's an expectation, and it will be frowned upon if you don't. Cash is obviously the standard way to go things, with a brown envelope as standard, but you can bring anything ranging from Cuban cigars to the hair on a newborn Asian baby's head. Number two, perform a song of your choosing. It's a ritual that everyone has to go through when they get a bank loan. My preference is obviously the Phil Collins classic hits, but others are recommended too. For example, Vanilla or Ice, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, or indeed Rammstein. Or you could just simply riff and do a bit of beatbox. I've been known to do a little bit of that after a few drinks. And then until you weep. The key bit with all of this is they want you to grovel before you get your money. So hopefully that helps you, Malcolm, in your quest for a small business loan. The next message is another Facebook message from Margaret Naismith in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. She says, "Dear Michael, I've received a resume in for a job I've been advertising for. It's the only application I've had for the role for over a year, but the individual is close to retirement age, and I have some reservations. Is it okay to employ somebody over the age of 60? Well, yes, absolutely, Margaret. They have so much to offer, and there are two types of over 60-year-olds in business. The first are uber successful older people like myself who give advice and expertise. We sit on company boards, we get insanely well paid, and we get free corporate meals with a glass of sherry once a year. Then there are the other type of over 60s, those who probably retired or simply cannot retire because, quite frankly, they didn't invest wisely when they were younger or didn't go to the right school. They will take any type of work simply just to get out of the house, stave off the loneliness and impending thoughts of imminent death. But they will be very keen to please you. They will work for significantly less money with a great attitude and plenty of experience, although you'll find not always relevant. And they can do all types of work too. They can answer calls, they can type up notes, they can do the filing, they can make cups of coffee, always with cookies. And clients love them. They elicit sympathy and pity. And so people will more likely buy from you. However, you do have to recognize that there are obvious costs to having older people working for you. Firstly, they will have excessively frequent bathroom breaks simply to empty the colostomy bags. Number two, having more than 3 older people in a room will result in an abnormally high concentration of ammonia. So what you need to do is spread them out across the workplace to diffuse that odor. Thirdly, install, of course, chairlifts and ramps everywhere. And also, as I've already noted, they're prone to telling extremely long stories that are not always relevant to the job at hand. So, in short, Margaret, yes, they're fine to hire. Good luck with your quest. So, I'm just checking through some of the messages that I have received over the past week or two, and yep, we'll get on to the next one here, and that is it's a YouTube message from my best in business regular, Mr. Connaughton. And Mr. Connaughton has followed me, as you will know, from many business trips over the years and taken some incredible photos with some other famous business and political figures. And I'm sure you'll agree they're absolutely marvelous. Not the ones to speak of you'll have seen so far, the ones with me and Bill and me and Donald. But there'll be more coming soon. But he says to me, "Hi, Michael. Hope you're doing well. Love to the wife." He knows I'm estranged. Don't know why he's done that. "I recently visited a professional psychic who told me I was going to strike it rich soon. Can I trust her? And are psychics clued up on business?" Yes, you can 100% trust her. Fortune tellers were the original business forecasters. They've predicted every global recession since the 1700s and were renowned on Wall Street during the 70s and 80s for their incredible stock market trading tips. However, we don't tend to use the word psychic anymore. It has a sort of thing about it. It's affiliated with old Irish gypsy ladies living in a circus caravan, smelling of perfume and listening to Fleetwood Mac, who force a sprig of heather onto you and maybe curse your family if you refuse. Nowadays, we tend to use the word tipster or a widow twankey. I myself have always used a psychic ever since I visited an Ethiopian shaman witch doctor in Addis Ababa in 1973. His name was Ewonga Nwanke Imamba, PhD. He gave me a palm reading, a pedicure, and an evening in a small earthen mud hut with one of his harem. This was all in exchange for a US green card for him and his 7 concubines, which my father was able to do since I was 13. So anyway, Dr. Mwambe foretold me, to cut to the chase, that I would become a renowned mechanical engineer with a full head of hair. He was spot on. I mechanically engineer successful careers. So, Mr. Connaughton, yes, go ahead with it. They can be trusted 100% to foretell the business future. We have an Instagram message in from my dirty bird's nest. We'll give it a clean then, you old slut. She says, "Hi, Michael. Loving the Best in Business weekly shows. I've been in lockdown with my ex-husband for 10 weeks now. It's as bad as you can imagine. So your videos give me hope." Well, that's wonderful to hear. A quick question for you. A friend came up with a great business idea whilst we were heavily drinking and suggested we do it together. Would you recommend going into business with a friend? And does it work? Yes, it always works. Friends listen to you. They agree with everything you say, even if it's a really bad idea. That's what friends are for. Nothing can go wrong. And let me say, some friends even have benefits, but not in front of the clients, please. No, really don't. It's quite unpleasant from the picture you sent him. Unless, of course, you run a sex shop, in which case you'll be demonstrating your products and services. Try and make sure, of course, that you have wealthy friends. Your friend is wealthy, hopefully. They will help you join the business. They'll provide the right level of startup capital, connections, and because they're wealthy, of course, they'll have a very proven track record in their blood of success. So try and get one of those. It's great mixing business with pleasure. And of course, never forget, your friend will enjoy working for you because they're your friends and will happily take your executive direction and supervision. You're the boss. So it'll be important at times that you'll need to remind them of that. But have no fear, it will have no detriment on your friendship. In fact, successful friends in business have included Bonnie and Clyde, Ben and Jerry's, plural, Dolce and Gabbana, Hewlett and Packard, Procter and Gamble, and Anton Deck, the people who own Santander Bank. So yes, very successful. Good luck with your venture. I have an email in from, Henry Johnson Sr. at Irvine Investments. And he says, Dear Michael, I am the senior partner of a boutique consultancy in Mayfair, London, managing a niche portfolio of risky Russian clients. As you can imagine, our profits have struggled over this quarter, and we will only now be making $24 million for this month end. Somewhere, we need to cut costs, and I've been looking into the efficiency of some of my junior staff. How can I minimize bathroom breaks for my workforce throughout the day? Can I just say, it's not all theory on Best in Business. I want to say absolutely now, this is real life, okay? It's real profits hitting real people like you and me, okay? Just because people have seven-figure salaries doesn't mean they're immune to reduced revenues. If you prick me, do I not bleed? That's Mark Twain, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Henry, to answer your question, yes, you can minimize bathroom breaks. This is something I have done previously at Best in Business, and it's worked a treat, although 2 former members have tried suing me for burst bladders. Anyway, here are my top 10 ways for reducing bathroom breaks. Number 1, do it at home. Number 2, 1 voucher pass per day. Number 3, a no queuing system. Number 4, block all lavatories with cement. Number 5, make the restroom cubicles open and in full view of all your colleagues. Number 6, daily allowance limits. 2 peas, 1 poop a day. Number 7, regular doping tests to check for use of laxatives. Number 8, food containing fiber to be banned from the premises. Number 9, enforced use of the communal butt plug. Sanitized, of course. And number 10, the replacement of desk chairs with commodes at each and every workstation. So hopefully, Henry, that will in some way, you'll take a few of those, will help reduce the costs and improve your profitability for the month end. So we're winding down a little bit here as well. I'm just trying to check some of the messages. I haven't got them all, so apologies if you've sent some in, but I haven't received any. We have a tweet in from @Smackhead2000, who basically says, what was the best bit of business advice you ever received, Michael? Great question. I once knew the owner of a downtown San Diego private gentleman's club called the Muddy Oyster. It was owned by a 4-foot man called Howie Hertz, and he said to me something once that I will never forget. Michael, you're only 10, but let me tell you, running a business is like getting a hand job. You try and get others to do it for you. Sometimes you pay a lot of money. But ultimately, there's only ever one person who's going to want to do it, and that's you. So that was incredible advice. And what I would say is I then repaid it back to society and played the same bit of advice back to a bunch of high school kids at a careers fair recently. So hope that helps, Smackhead 2000. We're on to our final message tonight. This is another Facebook message from Gene Simmons, Rochester, England. Claims not to be the Kiss legend Gene Simmons, but is in fact a lady. Hi, Michael. I am applying for a new job, and it's asking me to list all my qualifications. Unfortunately, I left my free state school without much to speak of, and only with my red record of achievement folder. Is this going to be a problem? Now, this is lovely to hear from people who didn't pay very much for their education. Best in Business is open for all, mainly for people who did pay for their education, but everybody can be successful. And this is, again, a great example. No, Gene, it's not a problem at all. Typical qualifications, great qualifications, include MBA, PhD, BSc cum laude, and BTech. The more letters you have after your name, the more intelligent you are. Although, let's be fair, you probably haven't seen another grown adult naked, have you? However, if you don't, that is fine. I have a book here, an ancient book, and let me say, Gene, is the ancient Hebrew word for recognition. Is there anything in your life, Gene, that you recognize as being an achievement? Perhaps it was that time you once had a shower before work just to prove to your colleagues that, yes, you are a team player. Or maybe it was that time you attended a business conference and drank 25 cups of cheap filter coffee just so you could prove it to yourself because you were obsessed with hitting targets. Well, either way, write it down on your resume, Gene. That's the best way. But Michael, what if I need to verify this? Well, sometimes, Gene, you may be asked to legitimize your achievement. Well, Microsoft PowerPoint can help you there. If you know how to use a home computer other than for self-gratification, then you may wish to create your own certificates and bring these in with you and stick them in your red record of achievement folder. So hopefully that helps you, Gene. And that brings us to the very end of our show this evening. Thanks very much for joining us. Apologies again for the late starting, but next week we'll be back on again at 8 p.m. UK time, and whatever that is, Pacific State time is 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Keep sending your questions in. I believe we can get every human being to have a successful career. And there's two ways we could do that. Share the Best in Business videos, start a watch party, and get others to join us. Let's do our bit for humanity. So without further ado, thanks very much for joining us, and look forward to joining you next week for Enter the Dojo of Business Live. Hiya!